SofM, but this is something we saw yesterday coming through from Viper, from Uzi. Are the Kaisa returning to Summoner's Rift inch by inch?
And I'm just very surprised to see it picked up against the Jinx. We've been just seeing this more overall globally as well.
Yeah.
I know seeing some like standout clips in the LCK of this champion being played. And we're seeing a lot more of the AP variant coming out, right? Just standing back far away, throwing out your W. Once the Evolve comes out off the top of my head, I believe it's a 77% refund to the cooldown, so you can pretty much just spam those non-stop. And then when you're going up a champion with the long range like Jinx, it really feels like that's the direction you kind of need to go. But Weibo locking in the Hecarim and the Rakan, one of On's go-to picks, so you have the engage there set up for the side of Weibo. To our RA, they're going towards a bunch of early pressure with the Ryze, with the Volibear, even Kaisa spiking decently early on.
We've seen a bit of a partnership out of mid, out of jungle with Volibear Ryze, haven't we? Get that level 6 mark, move to the sides. Lyric, I'm going to ask you more about the comps as we go through, because I see a lot of dive potential already built from RA. What do you look for on red side for as Zillion gets banned?
Yeah, I just got to say, I love that ban coming out. Angel's just been playing that one. It's been such an annoyance to play against, especially when you have a hyper carry, you have a champion like Hecarim that would benefit from the speed up. But now I think we're definitely going to be looking at support coming out next for the side of RA, typically wanting to be either the Nautilus or the Leona to set up for the passive coming out from Kaisa with those plasma stacks. So wouldn't be too surprised if they do just default to something like the Leona here. And then for Weibo, having to blind pick your top laner, Jace is down, Gwen is down. When you're looking at the TheShy in his champion pool, he has still gone a lot towards the Graves, so that is still open, and especially the Gnar, right? Ever since the Gnar has been meta, TheShy has always just loved going towards the Gnar, even when it wasn't a meta pick last year.
One of his most played as well, so worth noting there. Not outside the pocket as Rell gets picked up as well. You were talking about the Leona, but this is a very different direction.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of surprised to see it brought in. You do have two champions that are going to be running into you. I like Rell a lot more against low range or melee compositions because it sets up a lot easier for you to hit a 4 or 5 man ultimate. You also don't have like the greatest way of actually getting onto the enemy team without your flash. But Weibo, I mean, they're going to make him think about it. They're going to be running into them, committing with the Galio, also bringing out that Graves in top lane that we talked about. So a lot of good side lane options for the side of Weibo, but also having the all-in to get on top of the very low-range composition of Rear Adam.
That's an adult jumping castle if I've ever seen one. I was talking about it with my partner today. Apparently, you can hire them out for weddings, which is kind of pog. And look, I'm seeing already the first side of life here today. We've got a Jax to finish it off here for Cube. Lyric, when everything dives and likes to jump in, can you please make it easier on me understanding what I'm looking for?
So for Weibo, I think it's going to be straightforward. I actually think they're going to be the ones opting into just the full 5v5s, the team fights. They don't necessarily need to be playing off things like range advantage, even though they do have it with the Jinx, because they have the setup from SofM on to bring Angel into the backline, TheShy coming in off of flanks, and Huanfeng hitting safely from the back. Rare Adam, I think, are the more interesting one, because they have very strong mid-game tools once they spike at that level 6 mark with the Realm Warp, the side lane plays that you talked about. But then it looks like they want to be transitioning into side lanes, having Jax plus Ryze, wanting to stay away from the global of the Galio and just the all-in coming out from their side. I think it's pretty interesting when you have a Kaisa Rell as your bottom lane, because, right, those want to be looking for the all-ins themselves. Typically, you don't want to spread those thin as, like, your wave clear duty in mid lane while you have two side laners playing inside. So we're going to see how RA execute with this little bit of a kind of thrown together draft.
Well, you did tell me that for RA, you know, Strive pairs up with Leyan. We know Angel as well helps facilitate. These mid laners get involved, and a lot of the time we've been talking about how it influences top lane. Exciting when we see Galio rise. We see Volibear versus Hecarim. Jungle mid influencing the top side or even towards bottom. There's options here for both the drafts, and I love to see what that 6 brings here as we enter Summoner's Rift. RA versus Weibo Gaming. It's RA that are still not safe. 7-6. A win here against Weibo would not only be massive for the standings, but help them get closer towards securing playoffs in a split where their roster lost Fofo. They lost Hung, who's an absolute Chad, but they've still been able to keep it competitive and put themselves in a great position. For Weibo Gaming, they're already secured, but they're in the top 3. They want to be in the top 2. When we told you earlier that 12 wins is securing top 4, Weibo Gaming cannot afford to lose a single series. Welcome back to the Rift, and welcome to a series that I think is going to be pretty competitive, Lyric. It does feel like, you know, both these teams are in playoff form, or at least fast approaching, and I think this series is going to give away a lot to who's going to be securing a top 4 spot.
Yeah, I think the excitement for Weibo's been there all split. I think RA is the more surprising one, because even looking at some of the teams over RA, the LNGs, the EDGs, I think I have a bit more faith in RA's current form than I do those teams. So, going to be pretty cool to see how RA pull off this one. And just to once again hit on those win cons that we hit on, right? Yep. I think a very easy way to put it is, I think for Weibo, it's kind of making the map small. Again, looking for that strength and having your team grouped together, playing as a 5-man unit. For RA, I think it's making the map big. Early game, you're playing for picks. Late game, you're playing for sides. So, different styles coming out. Angel will be able to have a lot of access to, you know, either setting his team up or even shutting RA down with not only his Predator, but his ultimate once he does hit that level 6 mark.
Glad you mentioned the Predator there for Angel. Seems like a very important point to keep track of here with the first boots back by. That was hard to say in one sentence. Strive pulling him out in the meantime. Just getting lane priority. And moving eyes away from mid, if we're talking about the level 6 mark, it is important to track Leyan and SofM, who are pathing towards that top lane we talked about opening up this series, Lyric, and how important it's going to be for Cube versus TheShy.
And this is a matchup we've seen quite a bit. Remember, it started coming into flavor at Worlds. At Worlds, it wasn't working out too nicely for the Jax, but I feel like a lot of people didn't really know the limits of the matchup at the time. You do get bullied in early on, but you do win the all-ins, right? Jumping in with your counter-strike, making sure Graves can't get that damage off, you land the stun, and then you set up much better for jungle as a Jax, so it becomes a lot easier in those early 2v2s.
Bit of a CS lead to show that point in case as well. Cube against the turret stretches himself out and should just be farming up a storm. On the top side, Leyan, as he paths up, just note that the ward was in front of the red buff. Didn't actually spot out the clear, and for now, Weibo Gaming, not too much vision to talk about, so they're not going to know where Leyan is, but at least have a general idea. Back up towards his top side as Wave continues pushing out. I'm wondering how TheShy takes this.
We're going to see. I mean, has Flash available, no mana, though.
Personally, I guess Lyric was the right answer. Yeah, no mana, but he's got...
No, he's not. No, he's not.
I would take it personally. There's a jungle in your face.
You know, he's taking it as business. He's like, you know what? I know you're doing what you have to do, Leyan. We have to remember TheShy and Leyan played together, so
look at this.
Definitely not personal.
On with the roam. SofM with the Ghost as well. Flash over the wall from Strive. Onto the roam there, Lyric. A bit earlier than we expected.
Yeah, and it looks like Weibo's bot lane just forcing the wave in, as of course you can do with Jinx, just switching over the fish bones. Got the early reset to pick up the call for the Jinx, and it opened up a window on the map for On to make a play. But Leyan, I guess Leyan does want to make this personal Hysterics. You were right.
I don't know, I just sensed it with what we talked about, top laners for this series coming up. It makes so much sense. Leyan's still going to back away, though, in TheShy. His spidey senses were tingling, especially after Strive had to flash over that red side wall. So still for Weibo, adding the early pressure in. And I like that now, Strive without his flash available, we can see if SofM and Angel can start abusing the fact.
Yeah, SofM and Angel... So got a little bit more time. Angel will be able to hit 6 soon. Is going to get the reset off now. I'm actually surprised he canceled it. I was thinking, you know, look for the early base for your boots so you can start making those more proactive moves onto the map. I still think both teams going to be looking up towards their top sides, right? Even their camp's going to come back up in that sequence towards top. I think you have some potential to look bot for the side of Weibo, just, you know, bringing On in. You're able to follow up with both Angel and SofM, and then TheShy shouldn't be in too much trouble in that top side unless Strive looks to make a move himself as well, and, you know, you bring a 3v1 dive.
Waiting for that level 6 marker here for Strive, the Rell warp, the hero's entrance on top of the Angel back that you wanted to see. TheShy's not having trouble off the top side. In fact, going so well here as Cube has to back himself, so we are just going through the laning phase here, folks, as we start the game off. And, you know, for Weibo Gaming, Lyric, have they been the bloodiest team? I think you and I were talking about, like, comparison with JDG, Weibo Gaming were in the mix. I'm not sure if there was another team I've missed out on, but their early games were explosive, especially opening up the split.
Yeah, Weibo were definitely up there earlier on. JDG was another one. V5,
oh, yeah.
I think the scrappiest team we have in the LPL, which I think Weibo was the most surprising one, because Weibo, They weren't and have not been very scrappy as a team in the early phases. A lot of it comes down to those individual lanes. Like you'll see TheShy and SofM fight, 1v1 or 2v2. You'll see the bot lane willing to take some action, Angel as well, but not too much linking up is...
Okay.
Now look at Angel, he's moving up.
I mean, Leyan's not level 6, but TheShy is. He just runs into the bear, not caring about Cube, and practically faces off in a potential 1v2.
So, TheShy doing this because look at SofM, he was around this whole time. Even Angel was hovering up that whole the whole time the action was going on as well. He had his ultimate available, so would have always been a numbers advantage for the side of Weibo. As it looks like for Weibo, this has been a theme for them throughout the split, right? It doesn't matter how much we've theorized of them being able to set up action on the bot side. They pretty much always keep their action around the top half of the map. Even if it isn't always ganks, a lot of invades, a lot of deep vision, playing for the first Rift Herald, and just snowballing the game through that. Huanfeng pretty much being the perennial weak side player for the side of Weibo.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? Such a great player. People talk about the strength of this bottom lane. But when he's on a bit of an island, again, still not making too many mistakes, still playing pretty well here in the CS game in the bottom lane. Let's move back to you talking about setting up Herald. We've got a minute until that comes into fruition. Weibo Gaming already with 2 control wards. Deep in RA's try, in the starting brush outside of red, and TheShy getting his priority. I do like that RA, though, Lyric, have a bit of a response here. The vision game being played on their end, trying to track out SofM's movements a little bit closer, as it's obvious that TheShy is getting all the attention once again in a lane that he's already smashing by 10 CS.
And I mean, right, he's already gotten a lot of hovers from both SofM and Angel, even if they haven't committed to going towards the lane just yet. And with the crowd they have in top, and even at this point in mid, because we saw early on in the matchup, right, Ryze will be able to just bully out and push in Angel until he gets some levels under his belt. Now Galio can just ignore the wave and pretty much automatically push. Should set up for Weibo to be the team that have prio for that Herald. Their bot lane has push as well, so they are able to move first. And now it's going to be up to RA. Are we going to see RA maybe try and find a sneaky pick around top as Leyan gets spotted out by a ward? Or do you cross-map? Your wave not really in a place to cross-map and, maybe get a significant amount of plates on iBoy, but it looks like you just don't really have the way of walking into topside because Weibo have done such a fantastic job of warding around this objective.
I hope there was a third option, Lyric. You're going to tell me that RA are going to play the mosh pit here in front of the Herald, but as it already starts out, even on a ward, Angel moves up first. You can see Huanfeng and On fully committing. And iBoy and Yuyan Jia are going to be trying to get some turret plating here. Again, for the Herald, 2 plates makes it kind of worth, but Weibo Gaming already have this in their back pocket, and Weibo Gaming aren't going to lose that much for committing to it as well.
No, even Weibo, I think the reason they didn't send Huanfeng and On back down to the bottom lane was because TheShy reset at the same time. Had TheShy not reset, I think you can instantly pivot Huanfeng back down to the lane. You can even have On kind of hovering close by, but not able to do that because of TheShy's reset. But Weibo looks like they will be able to deny this dragon. They're trying, but no, they're just going to back off in the end.
Yeah, giving iBoy a bit of turret plating as they outro, though, as well. So kind of important to note that iBoy, with 2 pieces of turret plating here on the Kaisa Lyric, makes me feel like it, worth mentioning that he should have a bit of an item advantage here on the Kaisa that has been steadily farming away. Let's bring back to what we talked about, because you mentioned that for this RA comp, it will be a lot about the side lane. A strange core 3 here that we'll be looking at in the draft, but nevertheless, a draft that can start diving and start building up the advantage with the early access to damage that we're talking about also in the pick ban from the Kaisa pick.
Yeah, the thing that's been rough for RA is the fact that they haven't been able to find any access to these plays early on. We've seen Leyan twice try to make these plays towards topside, but not able to find it.
Okay, flashes forward on TheShy, flashes away. Top laner's given us a bit more than expected in SofM. The hero wants the heroic charge. Chilling smite down, Cube out of a counter-strike, and looks like SofM's backing away as the other horse comes through. They might be related, Lyric, I'm not sure, but at the very least, enemies for now.
Weibo committing so much up towards his top side. On over here, we even saw Angel starting to move up. Huanfeng having the respect has been, relegated to farming Krugs on the bottom side of the map. For RA, it feels like this is your big swing, your big boon is the fact that iBoy is getting so much prio in that bot side to collect plates, to, force Huanfeng away from tower as Super Mega Death Rocket, it sees where Leyan is. They know.
Oh, they want to fight. They want to fight on Sort of Shadows. They want to fight horse versus horse, and the The horse is about to die. First blood over to the horse, and Lyric, the horse died.
Yeah, the horse did beat the horse in this one. I'm just surprised how willing Weibo were to pull the trigger on that play.
They're not done.
They're going to keep going.
With the Winds of War, end of the line. Cube about to get shot in the face. TheShy blocked by a turret, but SofM with his second kill, making something happen. We didn't want to fall asleep in the first game of the series, Lyric, and Weibo Gaming ready there to wake us up.
Yeah, Weibo making all these plays on top. But like I said, this is the consequence of what you're doing on top side. Huanfeng having to respect iBoy in this bottom lane, having a ton of all-in potential. Even Strive, right? Because Strive hasn't been hovering up towards the top side. Huanfeng has had to back off away from turret, just knowing that Strive can react and look for the cross map towards bot lane. Luckily, though, as you highlighted earlier, Huanfeng hasn't really fallen behind in terms of CS. The only real big boon that RA have gotten on their AD carry is the fact that iBoy's been able to pick up 3 plates for himself.
Yeah, so, you know, a little bit of additional gold, sitting up about 400 over Huanfeng. A bit less, as you can see on your screen, guys. Shout out to LPL Production, by the way. I think this is one of the nicest things in spectator mode at the moment that never really gets talked about on our broadcast. Seeing the individual gold value on the side, no space taken up, Lyric. It's worth mentioning considering that every time for the first 15 minutes of the game, I use this constantly.
Yeah, and right, we can see where the leads are for Weibo. It's in top jungle and support for the side of RA. It is mid and AD carry. Weibo gonna try and, you know, say thank you, Huanfeng, for dealing with us playing all around the Shy for the first 12 minutes. Have some gold in the bottom lane. Yu Yanja was kind of angling for it, but with SofM still around, he won't be able to find it. And this might be RA's window to punish TheShy.
Well, we're back again.
Leyan pathing top.
Yeah, will he get there in time? Because it's going to be a slow path. End of the line once again. Cube getting shot in the face. TheShy having a much better time in the matchup. And the Realm Warp you mentioned, Lyric, Leyan, and Strive on the way. This will be 3 versus 1 very quickly. Collateral damage is there, but no flash. He's walking into the turret. He wants to escape, but no one to help him from Weibo Gaming. The bear and the magical blue man run at him, and all he can do is chase it off. iBoy dies in the meantime, though, in the bottom of our screen, and TheShy is just still running.
Yeah, TheShy. I mean, he's actually going to get away. He's going to run into Yanja, but Angel's here. SofM's here as well.
Yeah, track and repel. The Magnet Storm used to crash down TheShy, though. Buying time, ignite down, and he's tickled by a bear. As Leyan looks for the rest of the chase, Weibo Gaming can't save their top laner, but they still traded a hell of a lot for his wasted time.
I love how you've turned this broadcast into an Animal Planet show. Bears, horses, all the action coming through on both sides. It's a bit of a zoo.
That's a very negative connotation in League of Legends, but it is a zoo.
You know, it is. Even in life, it's like a positive and or negative connotation, depending on how you view zoos.
We are the apes.
Oh God, I'm not going to touch that one. As we're going to see what happens here in the bottom lane. I mean, I guess there isn't really too much to see, right? RA, they commit to the top side. iBoy, I mean, he wasn't sitting too close. Like, I feel like he backed away at a reasonable time, but still, just with the amount of movement speed coming out from SofM on this Hecarim, it's set up for the dive to still be successful.
I mean, a kill over to Huanfeng, who got the turret gold as well. Matching iBoy, who got his own earlier plating you were mentioning. And for Weibo Gaming, they're only up about 1,500 gold. So for RA, this won't be too much of a deficit. If I could speak properly, I'd tell you that iBoy's doing a lot of damage, but Leyan can't get the steal now. Stormbringer out of there. It was On who started the engage. The Everfrost used, but a little bit shallow. While a Dragon apiece goes over, Weibo Gaming matching up here, spawning the Hextech Dragon and positioning to blow mid down.
Yeah, and Weibo just going to keep putting the pressure on RA in their own jungle, trying to use the advantage that they have. And I want to highlight iBoy going straight towards the Kraken Slayer.
Yeah.
Not the typical, like, buy serrated Dirk and then start making your way towards some of your other items for those early upgrades. Paying a lot of respect to the fact that SofM right now is already massive. And, you know, Weibo's composition in general, having some pretty beefy members, just being Jinx surrounded by a bunch of bruisers, but does kind of lose out on some of that mid-game power you could have by just building other items. Q.
Yeah, again, we do this
Looks
little
like he's trying to
dance
set up.
again. Hull breakers there, though. Collateral damage. Bit of a response down. Yuyanj are going to be over a ward here. They know Leyan's there as well. TheShy going very aggressive. His Q burns his ulti, but he's got backup. SofM and Honor moving up. They want that Jax, but he's got another horse beside him. So for Weibo again, positioning to their favorite neutral here, Lyric. They return to Herald number 2, and they have control.
And for RA, we've just kind of seen they've really been choked out of answers, considering that they were the team that wanted to play around their soul lanes, and that they weren't able to find any options from the fact of On playing so heavily around his top side first. I mean, from, I think it was level 3.
It was level 2.
When we first, level 2 when we first started seeing him around this top side. So really preventing RA from playing to their win condition. And this goes to an growth that we've seen from On from last year of how much more heavily he's playing the map. That was really the one strength that felt like Sword just had over him in spades when the swap first originated, with On getting more time, getting more experience, working with these members of Weibo. Heck, even having Sword behind him now to even potentially help him out, it really feels like this player has just grown so much.
Oh, when we saw On come in, again, a lot of the time it was him either getting caught out, being on the wrong page. People kind of forget that Sword was the shot caller on the team. He was the strongest voice. Lyric, I remember, it was one of the events we did, one of the finals, one of the playoffs. I think it was towards Worlds, where Sword, as I pause here, On actually going to have to dance away. Yuyanjar can't follow that up, nor can Leyan. That Sword was shouting at the top of his lungs as we watched Suning make the World Championship through the qualifiers. So, you know, he had big shoes to fill, and we're kind of at this point where you're right. The communication field On getting a lot better individually as a player, and Weibo Gaming piecing so well with their new top laner too. So as Herald gets placed towards mid, we are talking up this team on the blue side simply because of the lead and the tempo that they're pushing in this first game. They're going to open up mid, Lyric, and they've got access to the map with a comp that you said wants to start 5v5ing and pulling off some of the pivots in the chokes mentioned.
Even able to get the second one is SofM!
Immediately, over the wall. You know what? That's not a choke, but I'll take it. Angel going gold, but Huanfeng starting to really hurt Leyan in the firing line. A couple more rockets, but he's got no matter to follow through with the death rocket as a Realm Warp used from Strive. He's the big beefy boy. And Weibo Gaming now have to deal with him as against the turret. They want to take this. TheShy getting low, but they get out with the objective that they came for. Weibo Gaming running for the hills, collateral damage, building space, but the Realm Warp's already down. And Weibo again making a better gold trade.
I mean, still, it's a 1-for-1 in the end. And actually, it looks like maybe the gold lead's grown by a few hundred, but still only sitting about a 2K lead.
Yep.
I'm surprised Weibo were so bold to look for that play. Just keep your vision control up.
iBoy! Huanfeng under the turret, flashes away. SofM, though, is just going to run him down. I still love it. Strive on the wing, but he's too late. I don't know, Lyric, do you want to give him props?
I do. I mean, at this point in time, right, he's known that he was the one getting a lot of gold down in that bottom side. He's down by like 30 CS at this point, but still got all those plates early on. And he's showing like, hey, I want to be the one to step up to be the big carry. He does it, picks up his Phantom Dancer now. Yep. So, again, going towards a bit of a build on Kaisa that we haven't really seen in quite a while. Gonna have a lot more, DPS coming out from your auto attacks. Means you are gonna have to be able to put yourself in harm's way. Not gonna be as bursty as, you know, some of the other builds, the AP or the lethality coming out as we are in the replay. I mean, the dive came out of nowhere. They're doing it because they have numbers advantage. Jax is showing top.
Yep.
But Angel, committing not being able to get out like SofM did with that amount of mobility and the movement speed pretty much means he was able to end up going down as iBoy bolts in, gets the Q, instantly flashes out. SofM waiting in the wings. He goes down, but iBoy gets style points in my book.
Yeah, he does, but it does give another kill over to the horse. It's already 4-0. 5 out of 5 kill participation for SofM after that one as well. As here's the Galio. Bit of an entrance, a bit of a boom, and a boomer going down. You see iBoy once again dropping 1-3-1 here. Getting some death under his wing, and Lyric, you know, once again, Weibo Gaming trying to build up this game's pace.
And Weibo, you know, despite the fact that we're only at 9 kills, I feel like this game has had a lot more action than what is told, right? Because we've seen both teams leaning and trying to make plays. A lot of the time, it's been Weibo's vision shutting RA down from anything able to happen. As, you know, we're going to get to see in the right-hand corner here how this went down. Ooh, Everfrost lands. Everything just kind of collides perfectly. Nice rocket by Huanfeng, coordinated with Angel to be able to find that pick. And I mean, Weibo's composition, even though we hit on it being 5v5, it does have more layers and more dimensions to it. I just feel like that's the one area where it does outperform RA significantly. You definitely have the ability to make picks and you know, commit two members to side with the fact that Angel has the global ultimate. You know, bring him and SofM down to the Shy's lane, have a 3v1 or 3v2, you get some picks, you translate that into an objective. So definitely some different dimensions for Weibo to play out, and we're starting to see that happen with no neutral objectives up, right? Because there's no real way for them to force RA into them, so they're having to utilize the other ways their composition can play out the game.
So as they look for a pick onto Cube, I do have a question about RA's composition as On sets it up with a grand entrance now with the Everfrost and the Shielded Ran on top of this Jax. He gets a leap strike out, but the Death Rocket a bit too short. TheShy wants in on this little play, while RA with their top laner gets dove with all members showing. RA like, let's try and do a Baron and Lyric. They do it so fast.
Ooh, yeah, and you know, there is ability to follow up here because we need to remember both Angel and TheShy have TP.
SofM knows. He's well aware of this. Ultimate available. Do they want to burger flip it into the back? SofM goes in. It's taken by iBoy. A hero's entrance from Angel to help out. A great Everfrost as TheShy is right in front of them. The rest of Weibo Gaming here as well. The Realm Warp through. Cube doesn't get into it though. Now they're scattered as Angel's in the middle waiting for Shielded Ran once again. On top of iBoy. There's a Graves in his face. Helped out by On. Weibo Gaming will kill a few, but it's RA who's sneaking under their nose.
At the end of the day, it's a 1-for-1 and RA get Baron. And it's so weird to me because for Weibo, I don't really think that sneak should ever not be allowed to happen, but they should have that in mind. And I thought that's the whole reason you're making this play, because you have Galio and Graves who both have TP. Sure, it would take longer for Rakan to get here, but look how late the Graves channels his TP. Even Angel follows up with the ultimate, but still not having the damage here available. You send two members into 4, one of them gets bursted out immediately, and now Weibo just trying to find the best they can of getting more picks in this fight. But pretty awkward position for them with Angel being caught between 4 members. I believe TheShy is going to be able to finish off iBoy here, but still.
Fighting again. Well, Weibo Gaming might have lost the Baron, but have they lost the war of attrition? I don't think so. Leyan with a flash gets over the wall. And again, the picks continue to come through. I will say, though, with the last players who are rounding out Lyric, RA have Baron on a composition that you talked heavily about side lanes. We do have a Ryze who's flame horizoning, and we have Cube who's getting into his element. So this feels like this is RA's little window into game 1.
Ooh, Cube?
I think he's out.
Oh, he's Baron recall.
Yeah.
He's fine. He's absolutely chilling. But you're right. I mean, this is where they really come online. And for the first time in the game, Rare Adam come out with the gold lead, and look at them. Instantly pull the pressure towards top, and then the rest of your team pivots down towards this bottom side, get vision down, allow the Ryze to be the one to push out now, hit turret aggressively. It even sets you up to, you know, find picks in the enemy bottom side jungle if you find a member like On who's walking in right now.
And he W's against the wall too. Strive won't look for the further catch, but remember, this is a 3-item Ryze, so I like as well starting to pivot here around the strong member. And as RA group up for the inner turret, Weibo Gaming forced to match, Strive out with the Realm Warp, and Cube just goes back on the top side, Lyric. We are starting to play out through these sides, and Weibo Gaming are getting split throughout the map.
And this is the way you have to do it, right? It's supposed to be a push and pull when you play sides in terms of like when you are showing relative to other members. So mid and bot showing at the same time. The second you don't see any members of Weibo on the map, you know, Cube then allowed to start pushing up aggressively as they're walking down into your vision in that bottom side jungle. They then pivot. Weibo gonna have to answer on the top side. It's kind of rinse and repeat as you see now. Cube backing off. Strive walking forward aggressively to push in.
While RA make a play towards mid. SofM there with Magnet Storm turn onto Angel. Shielded Ran going to buy time and On gets the Wombo. Everfrost again on 2-man, but now Strive gets the free hit, and iBoy as well running forward. That hero's entrance doing nothing. SofM after the fact. Angel a little bit slow too. Weibo Gaming might have 4 members, but RA with low health bars in front of this dragon. Lyric, they've got a kite back.
Yeah, RA though. We do still have Cube's ultimate up. iBoy as well as ultimate. No ultimates for the side of Weibo.
And TheShy just takes it. TheShy just took Dragon, walked in and said, "What's up?"
Even SofM, who has Smite, not able to guarantee that one. But TheShy, clutch as hell as always to be able to make this happen. Still, I feel like for RA, they're feeling it. They're in a relatively good spot in this game. they forced that fight that I thought would be hugely beneficial for the side of Weibo. But Huanfeng not able to find his way to get any damage done. RA come out with the pick. You lose Dragon, so Weibo are on Soul Point. That is their biggest benefit now, right? Because any mess up coming out from RA pretty much leads to Weibo getting that objective and just will lead to a team fight victory. But we have to go straight into the replay here. RA being the ones to aggress here. You see SofM and Huanfeng falling up, but look at the side. Huanfeng insists to back off because Cube is waiting in the wings, zones them out. The rest of RA members able to go in on, as you said, the heroic entrance coming in a little bit late. Then let's see how TheShy was able to guarantee this. Leyan's smite did come out just a little bit too soon. And, you know, beautiful timing coming out from TheShy.
Mix of a Q and an auto. And TheShy just walks up and takes it. And Weibo Gaming now on Soul Point. There might be about 1,500 gold behind, and it looks like RA are just slowly taking over this game. But we talked a lot about what Weibo can do in chokes, Lyric, in 5v5s. I know you talked about the other elements of the comp that can come through with the flexibility, but maybe it's not important because TheShy about to get solo killed. Cube does it with ease. We are in late game. Jack's baby, and Cube is all about it.
And it's just so rough to see TheShy solo killed once again. We highlighted 3 solo kills in the last series for Wayward against TheShy. Now another solo kill going against TheShy in this series. And for the side of Weibo, I mean, even hating on how they won a team fight, right? I feel like a big problem was where that team fight took place because it allowed for the Jinx to be zoned out so easily. If they can have team fights happen just straight out in the open, they have their vision behind them. No one can zone Huanfeng out, hitting front to back. That's where Weibo really benefit, but they haven't been able to find that. RA have kept up this pressure just in the bottom side jungle, and they're going to keep it going as well. Wave pushed in, other members hovering around. You have the Realm Warp on Strive just in cases. Actually, no. Strive doesn't want to hover around bot side. It's like, screw this, I'm going top to push in this wave as well.
Nice.
And they go back to the push and pull.
So we continue back to the game plan here that RA have really just put into power. This has been a beautiful mid to late game as we're kind of descending into that RA have put on for us. But Lyric, we know in 2 minutes 30 that RA is going to change. Even in front of the Baron here, Weibo Gaming getting pulled in and RA spread quite thin. So nothing being done under the nose a second time.
And I just want to highlight again the fact that for Weibo, since they are on Soul Point, I mean, just one thing going wrong, one thing that leads TheShy to walking up, autoing, throwing out a Q, and getting him Dragon, then going to give Weibo so much firepower in those fights. So they're still not down and out, even though they are a few K gold behind, and even barring the gold, right? I feel like gold has been very misleading this game because early game, Weibo were only up 2K, but it felt like they were in complete control of the game, and it feels like the reverse for RA ever since we've gotten into this mid-game is we get a replay here. Counter-Strike comes out instantly into the jump with the flash, so that's able to stack up. Conquer stacked up first for Cube. His ult was up. And I mean, right, that's the dynamic of the matchup. If Cube can find the all-in, he will be able to win, especially now that he has the Blade of the Rune King, also picking up the Randuins as well. TheShy just not really having the same amount of damage to be able to take him down in this one.
A lot of gold coming through. Caulfield's Warhammer on top of that, ready for the 4th. So as we look across the items and look towards this next fight, as Baron starts again. I was saying that Weibo Gaming, RA wouldn't do this under your nose, but his teleport comes through at 4K. SofM needs to steal this time, needs to get the smite on top, and he does. There we go. SofM making up for it all the way out. They'll take out you, Yanja. Angel buying spaces. Huanfeng and TheShy are firing them down. The artillery hurting. Strive interrupted. The hero's entrance as Cube tries to bring it back. And iBoy doing the same. A messy fight, but one that RA can bring into fruition. iBoy and Strive forward they go. They've taken them all down.
And Cube pretty much completely set that up, jumping and counter-striking in, which allowed iBoy to follow up with his ultimate. If not, that was Weibo's fight. They were getting the front to back that they've wanted. But with iBoy finding access, now they can push in, get more damage down on enemy turrets. Only SofM is up right now.
Look at Bond in the mid lane, dude. How obvious is Strive right now? 0-0 and 7, and so big when he gives a bit of extra room to iBoy as well. This tank Ryze, this Kaisa in the bottom lane, now working out as RA deliver a fight that did not look good from the start.
No, Weibo angling in for the fight. SofM finds a steal in between a bunch of members, so he does get chunked out very low early on. They are able to trade a 1-for-1 as Yanja finding himself in the midst of the enemy team. This is where things start to look good for the side of Weibo, but instantly Cube finds his way onto Huanfeng. iBoy able to find access to an ultimate onto the back line, and this is where things really start to turn around, is now you don't have that long-range damage coming out, the consistent DPS of the Jinx, and the other 3 members pretty much able to skirt around the teamfight Strive as well. Might not have any kills like you were hitting on, but still putting out a tremendous amount of damage. The phase rush as well, so they aren't able to stick on top of him. So nice job coming out from RA in that fight. They found pretty much the one window they could to win that fight, and they took it. They were able to get the Kaisa onto the back line with Jax jumping in as well.
Jax goes bonk. That's 5k worth of damage. 5k from iBoy as well. And iBoy, the AD carry, kept getting caught out. I mean, again, he's one of the greatest team fighters. You can say what you want about iBoy as, I know, potential comedian sometimes on the Rift, but when it comes down to it, his team fighting skills always something we talk up. Now with an Infinity Edge here on this Kaisa, bounty, 4 kills under the belt. All right, things are looking good in Game 1, Lyric. When we talked about this team, still not yet locking in playoffs, but this game against Weibo Gaming would set the tone for where RA could be and how much closer they could be to also locking in their spot.
Yeah, RA, I mean, again, just consistently impressive. Weibo, though, still having the Baron on SofM, are just going to go for the push, forcing the TP back from Strive.
They can't get the turret in time. Look at the TP flank as Yuyanjar goes in with the Magnet Storm. SofM's deep on as well. Has to get back. Yuyanjar forcing out the damage, but SofM getting low.